Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 598 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Tom Malda, and I am here today in pretend low Earth orbit to talk about the news with Chris DeBona.
Hey.
And Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
I had to hurry and press the stream button because you guys Chris connects to the phone and immediately wants to talk about Suicide Squad.
Well, you know, I have my idiom that I have to maintain.
I hear you. Yeah, man. The second trailer dropped, and it looks good.
It does look good. Yeah, no, it's funny because like he has all of his regulars in the show.
Yep.
You know, and it's the most recognizable ones or the most familiar ones, like his brother. His brother plays the rat thing, and Stallone's playing King Shark. You know, I mean, this is
the trailer.
I just love King Shark. Can I tell you?
Can you find the Nathan Fillion bit?
That's a good question.
Because it's only like a half a second, and I only watched the trailer once, and I just wanted to see.
I'm trying to remember who he plays.
He's the guy with spinning arms. He's Arm Fall Off Man.
Arm fall off, man, right? They show one scene with his arms falling off. Yeah, that's right.
Well, they're like spinning, but I wanted to see if it was recognized because he was small in frame, and I was watching it on a small screen, and I wanted to actually see if it's recognizable. I thought you were the crazy one. I am.
So it looks like they're using King Shark more based on the Harley Quinn animated series than the traditional hammer-headed King Shark from the comics. And I love that he's got a dad bod. He looks absolutely
he looks wonderful.
He does, doesn't he?
Did you see James Gunn did an interview actually about the design of King Shark, and they tried to do it as a hammerhead and said it couldn't because the eyes on the side of the head.
That's really funny.
It just doesn't work. Doesn't work in film. That's great. Oh well.
And they have Doctor Who. They've got
with weird.
I'm playing it so I can see if I can catch it.
All right,
but I didn't want to play the whole thing because I didn't want us to get in trouble. You know, with the man.
So yeah, it looks it looks entertaining to me.
Yeah, it's because
the first one was not good.
This to me is like the happiest outcome conceivable from the James Gunn getting canceled on Twitter thing. That was a nightmare scenario when it happened, and like when it happened, like this is what we got. That's awesome. Well, I hope the movie is not. I hope the movie is half as good as the trailer. And I mean, the first Suicide Squad movie, the trailers were decent too, but
yeah. I kind of feel, though, they're taking more of a lighthearted approach for this one, which is, you know, probably good.
Okay, I found it.
There it is. So you can't really tell that's Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, you can. I mean, that's his chin.
Is it? All right.
I like that his symbol is this.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it is reminiscent to the toys of the late 70s and early 80s that you get as a kid.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all the toys I had where the character would shoot their fist for some reason. Like I had the old style Godzilla toy that shot its fist for whatever reason. The Shogun Warriors that would shoot their fists for whatever reason. It was definitely a thing.
And a good 20% of the action figures in any given toy chest are missing a limb.
Right, so maybe they're all Aren't we all arm fall off, man, at our hearts?
It's just a matter of how long before they fall off. All right, so Oscar Mayer is offering shoelaces that smell like bacon. And
is this an April 1st story,
and
though?
This is the thing about this. I read this like 5 times. It came out on the 26th. So probably not. But it seems so stupid that it seems like it should be.
Yeah, to celebrate the release of Air Max Bacons, we're dropping bacon-scented laces that will make your kicks sizzle. I don't know.
You know those laces don't really smell like bacon either. That thing
they probably smell like chemicals.
Yeah. So eventually you'll have a nice sweaty shoe that smells faintly of chemicaled meat. I bet it's fantastic.
I mean, my shoelaces right now smell just as much like bacon as bacon smells like bacon.
I start every day by cleaning the kitchen, so I wouldn't be surprised if my shoelaces smell like food sometimes, because sometimes you spill some cleaning water on your shoes. It's a thing.
It happens.
I
have one pair of socks that has a blood stain on it from when I was cooking something, and I spilled one drop of whatever meat that I was cooking, and it stained the sock, and it's been through the laundry, 100 times. And every now and then I put on the one sock, and it's got that little brown spot. It's like, that won't come
one
out.
sock.
I should probably throw that sock away.
Here, can I show you the meat I cooked the other night? So look at that.
Only if you're going to ship it to me.
Isn't that beauty? You can just go to Costco and get it. Yeah, but yeah, look at that marbling. That lovely marbling. Don't you want shoelaces that smell like that?
We found a place north of us that they do the thing where you buy a cow, but they'll give you a part of a cow. And
you get to tell them which part?
Well, and that's the thing, is that you don't get to tell them specifically which part, but they give you some flexibilities, because Kat and I, we like the cuts we like, and they'll get us that, and it's great.
I just want the face.
Right?
Yeah. Well, so that's
left and
I have to tell you, that was one of the most surprising things about going through the Middle East. So the way the butchers advertise what they have is they cut the head off and they hang it outside the door.
Gross.
So throughout Tunisia and a bunch of other places, it's like, oh, I guess they have cow today. So yeah.
Good. All right. So Ubiquiti, they're the router company, right?
Yes.
They got cracked, and they got cracked bad.
They got cracked hard back in December, apparently. Or, according to the whistleblower. And then they blamed it on on their AWS S3 buckets being exposed or something.
Yeah.
But like source code and user information, account credentials, and it's pretty sketch.
I hate to say something controversial, but I don't believe I don't believe that there's a router manufacturer that doesn't have a backdoor in their router. So
you mean for governments or something?
I just don't think that you get to sell a router to the United States mass market and not have a secret way in. I just don't think that's possible in 2021.
Well, I mean, I sort of thought, I guess I'm more optimistic than you, but that's just me. When they all started adopting the cloud interfaces, the people who could really code shone through, and the others were like, just don't put it in your baby's room, this camera, right?
Yeah.
Put it on its own VLAN. How about that?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like all the nerds now, they have 2 LANs in their house. One for the random shit that they buy from for $2.95 from China that's got a microcontroller in it.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a pile of those cameras, but I keep them on their own separate VLAN and wireless. So. Mm-hmm. Because it's not that I don't trust China or the Foshan Shenzhen camera company, but I do like their hardware. I will give them that.
I just feel like it's a numbers game. And when you've got a system like that, you've got, the microcontroller chip designer, you've got the motherboard designer, you've got the software, all of those packages, and they're all using bits and pieces of free software that could theoretically be monkeyed with. Then they're linking their things up to the cloud where there's possibilities there. Right. There are just too many vectors. Somebody's figured it out.
So if you're like a small-time operation in Shenzhen, you start by basically deciding what you're going to build, right? And then you grab a board from this person, a chip from this person, a CCD from that guy, the software from that gal. I mean, you pull it all together and bam, you start shipping for $50 a pop or $100 a pop. And then you got a business as soon as you've sold your first run of inventory. And it's like, it's just, so if you know that going into it, you can understand what you're buying. But most people, by the time it gets to an American Walgreens, it's like, it's just a mess.
Anyway.
And I love my idealistic free software brothers and sisters who are like, we'll force them to open source their software. And I'm like, who's them in this conversation? Because they're gone.
Right.
You know,
they are
it's
in
over.
a different country. What legal?
Well,
what law
it's not even a
system?
different country, much less China. All right. It's just like, you know, they're gone. You couldn't find that 10 by 20 booth in, you know, Seg floor number 5 to figure out who the heck made this thing and who owes you software. It's just like, come on, you know.
All right. Well, I'm glad I don't know if any of those routers. Unfortunately, I don't trust my router anymore.
Well, Ubiquiti did send off a patch for this specific one and ask you to change your authentication and encourage you to use 2-factor for your cloud access.
Oh, cool. 2-factor that authenticates through the SMS system, which has been reliably demonstrated as being a completely secure system. Cool.
Well, you know, unless you're John Podesta, I think it's probably good enough for most Americans, but, you know.
I mean, that just ain't true. Or
if you're a big Bitcoin investor.
Oh, yeah.
You know. So there was a rash of people who had, you know, tens of millions of dollars of Bitcoin taken after an SMS exploit. And the way that one worked is, I believe it was a Verizon or an AT&T employee who was basically fronting for some mob, you know, and doing the 2-factor authentication, routing it incorrectly or correctly to the mobsters. And then they were stealing all the Bitcoin. It's just like, wow. It was really well, you know, it was a well done heist, I have to tell you.
Sure.
You know.
But I mean, that's how I feel about all of the security systems now. These stacks are so tall, they're Jenga towers that are stacked upon Jenga towers upon Jenga towers. And for decades now, we've been pulling blocks out of the middle and stacking them on the top. And there are just enough ways that I don't believe anything is truly secure anymore.
I would endorse my company's Wi-Fi routers for their security, if not for, you know, I use Ubiquiti though, but.
See, I use the other one, and I just I wish they would take like 5 feature suggestions and add them.
Yeah. Well, send them to me and I'll file a bug.
There you go. I'm sure that'll...
And it'll be promptly ignored.
Right. That's right. All right. So somebody found a buffer overflow in Doom and got it to run Snake, which I think is hysterical.
That is fantastic. Is there a video of this?
There's
wonderful...
screenshots. I didn't see a video.
They use the little skulls.
Yeah, they're using the actual graphics inside the game.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
It has to run on DOS.
Good for you, hacker.
Or on an emulator or whatever. It's the DOS version. I love that.
Yeah.
It's funny to me that there's a number of things that you don't really think about related to open source, but Doom and Quake specifically were notoriously released. Their source code was released relatively early on. And because of that, they have both been used in a million weird test cases. You know, Wolfenstein 2, the source code for that was released, and that gets ported to everything. Quake has all its ray tracing stuff built in, and it runs on everything.
Do you remember when Transmeta came out with their chip, and they had the very long instruction word emulation of x86?
Yep.
And they also had a Java core that you could run on top of the VLIW stuff via microcode.
Yep.
And so the way they demonstrated it is they ran Quake, and they had basically the game loop in x86 assembly language or something, and then like a whole pile of code that was all just pure Java that they had ported. And they're like, look, now we're switching from the x86 core to the Java core to the x86 core to the Java core. And it's like, whoa, that's really something.
Science fiction, man.
It was very science fiction.
Speaking of science fiction, the latest EmDrive did not work.
As you all will remember, I said it won't work. It's not a thing because it violates probably all the laws of thermodynamics, but specifically all those ones that say you cannot create or destroy energy.
Yep. So now we can use the laws of entropy to let this idea rot.
Yeah. But what about the water engine?
The water engine?
The car engine that runs on water. Did they get that to work?
No, because Big Auto is keeping us from saving gas.
Yeah. You think that's the original EmDrive? That the government didn't take it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like they came by and they stole my magnets. Now they're just hunks of metal.
If they're putting backdoors into all those systems, you think they wouldn't take the EmDrive? You're a fool.
That's the
Yeah,
first
because
thing.
think of how many Americans could stop paying taxes if they went to space, Mr. Roseboom. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They would tie up with that Matt Gaetz fella, go work for OANN, go to space, and stop paying taxes.
Or worse yet,
while
you take
sexually
one of these,
trafficking people.
You take one of these out to an asteroid, you mine all that iron, destroy the iron market on Earth, as we were talking this week.
Yeah, that crappy asteroid.
Well, he's going to just throw the iron into Chris's big plot of land in Nevada.
This is still a fantastic idea. Nevada is America's sacrifice zone, and we should use it for asteroid targeting.
Just for
right?
fun.
You know, we could get titanium, we could get gold, we get platinum, we get palladium, we get woof, right into Nevada.
Right.
No one would even notice.
We schedule it. So like Thursdays are bombardment day. And then the rest of the week, you just pick it up. You go out
I'm
there.
sorry. If you did it right, I bet you people would rent. So, you know, during the atomic tests, people would rent the very tippy-toppest rooms in the strip so they could watch the tests.
Right. They only want to expose the maximum radiation to their face.
Yeah, but no, they wanted to see it. It was exciting, right? So imagine if you could do that, right? Because, I mean, I'm sure that the government would be fine with this, using a test site for this. And we just go, foomp, 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 you know? And people would be like going to the top of the Stratosphere Tower, that terrible casino, paying their $20 just so they can watch the asteroids come in.
Christopher in channel says that he knows a guy who lost $1 million in one of those Bitcoin hacks.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of sympathy for them. It's Bitcoin, so... But, you know, still, look, man, I mean, that feels pretty bad.
You're done hodling your Bitcoin.
Hodl.
All right, so Grogu, they're developing a Grogu show with Mark Hamill, theoretically. I mean, who didn't see that coming? But I don't know. I like that they have the gonads over at Lucasfilm to say, look, what's the most popular part of The Mandalorian? Baby Yoda? Cool. Let's take him off the show. That's great. I hope that those decisions are being made for storytelling reasons and not purely for cold marketing ones.
Come on. Lucasfilm and Disney make a decision just for the money?
Weird, right?
Bite your tongue, Rob Malva.
You think it's brave that they're making a Grogu show?
I think it's brave I think it's brave that they're taking the most popular character off their most popular show.
That show's not going to come back. I mean, they lost Gina Carano. They can't do anything with it now.
They can absolutely do whatever they want with that show.
That was a joke.
But I do hope I actually wouldn't mind if they just let Mando take 3 or 4 years off. I think I've been saying this all along. I think that's how these shows should go. Go and give me a season of another character and call it a different show. I don't care. That's why the CW shows suck, is that we've got, you've got 22 episodes and you only care about 2 of the characters, and you got 18 episodes dedicated to the characters you don't care about. I hate it. Hate it.
So, at the same time, I was actually quite cheered that Mark Hamill did the voice of the costumer in Invincible. I thought that was a very nice... I remember I felt very good about that. I was like, hey, it's Mark Hamill. He's doing his voice thing.
It's his thing. It's what he usually does.
It's his thing. He's good at it, you know? Yes. So I thought that was kind of cool.
And Invincible is so fun. New episode right now is sitting on my device.
Isn't it good?
Waiting to watch.
So yeah, actually, my wife watched the first 2 episodes last night. She's like, yeah, I'll watch more of this. I'm like, okay. My kid was like, this is too violent. I'm going upstairs.
Let's see. A kid got a hold of a nuclear agency's Twitter account and started tweeting from it.
Sure.
That's
sure.
Cool.
That's what happened.
You don't think that the director of whatever was a little tipsy one night?
Yeah, what was it? It was like LL semicolon. Oh, here it is.
It was Kofifi.
It was like
semicolon L semicolon GML
person
GML
man
woman
camera
SS.
TV camera.
Yeah. Okay, those are I can see them banging with their little fingers against it. That could work.
I guess this could be another info drop that someone just hasn't, decoded exactly what that means yet.
Yeah, this is technically a numbers station, right?
This is Q. He's just inside.
Oh God, he's the worst. This is the worst timeline.
It's weird to me that Q has become such a thing, because I always thought that Delancey's episodes were the worst ones.
Yeah, well, they were. You know my feelings on Q.
For sure.
He
So,
was
all
the
right,
worst.
SpaceX rains hellfire on Seattle. That's the video that's my headline, but that's the video that you shared, Chris.
Yeah. So basically, I think it was SN11, I guess. The second stage broke up and deorbited. Funny. So there was this really cool video. I'll mute it. Look at that. That's beautiful.
You should switch tabs so we can see it.
Oh, I am so sorry. That was very unprofessional. There you go.
That's cool.
It is cool, right? And like, so apparently it rained a small amount of debris onto Vancouver Island, which is north of us here. And yeah, so it's very exciting.
They also had one blow up on the launch pad, or not on the launch
pad.
Yeah,
over at Boca Chica.
That was just yesterday.
Yep.
Oh man, Chris, you got so many notifications that you got to take care of. Holy cow!
I don't care about stuff.
Yeah, they had it go up, and then there was some sort of malfunction, and there's debris all over the place. But it was, of course, it was a foggy day, so I love now that there's a cottage industry of people set up around that launch site with cameras and live streams. And on a foggy day, it probably directly cuts into their page views or their watch minutes on the YouTube.
Yeah. Scott Manley did a thing about it.
Of course, Scott Manley.
But it was very foggy,
yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that was all of the things that I had on my list. We can talk about Godzilla.
I think we should always talk about Godzilla. Rob, please help us understand. Is the new Godzilla movie everything we want it to be? Are there rockets being shot at kaiju and vice versa?
Well, of course there. Has anyone here seen it yet or no?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I really want to see it.
Oh.
But you're not going to be ruining it for me. I have to tell you.
Oh, yeah. There's
Godzilla movies are unruinable,
Yeah.
They're like porn.
I mean,
how a Godzilla movie's going to end. The same way you know how the porno's going to end.
I read an article that was supposedly the leak of the plot before I saw the movie. And I'll say the leak was almost 100% true. Everything that they wrote about it was actually what happened in the movie. So and it didn't really ruin anything for me because it's, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But there are little bits in it that pay homage to the original Godzilla versus King Kong and a bunch of other stuff. So I don't know. If you dig those movies, you'll like it. If you don't, you won't.
I'll tell you what I loved. There were two things that I loved. I loved how utterly stupid it was. So spoiler alert to Christopher Aramblu.
What?
I loved how stupid everything connected to them going into the Hollow Earth was. That made me so happy because it was just so dumb. And I loved everything about how the Hollow Earth worked. Like, it was just so over the top. It was just loony. And that's without even stressing about how they're gaining access to all these military vehicles and how they're allowed to tie Kong up and the girl with the sign language and all of that stuff. But they ended the movie with what truly made me happy, which was a seriously long sequence of Godzilla and King Kong just knocking over skyscrapers. And that looked perfect.
The fight scenes are pretty decent, although they weren't quite as long as I thought they were going to be.
Huh.
It was a shorter movie.
Is Aaron Taylor Thomas back as the tough soldier guy, looking at Godzilla going, oh, or are they just counting on Monarch for that?
Well, there's two organizations now. There's Apex Cybernetics and
Apex Cybernetics. That's a very 80s, name. I love it.
Well, the movie was weird too because there are two completely different plot threads and
three.
Nobody from Millie Bobby Brown's troop ever meets the people that are on the boat. They never even meet. They could have filmed those 10 years apart. They had nothing to like.
That was COVID, you know.
They're well, maybe.
Other than the completely stupid thing they do to cause Mechagodzilla to pause, so that King Kong and Godzilla can get the upper hand, they have absolutely nothing to do with any of the other characters in the movie whatsoever. They are simply there so that there's a little bit explanation about what Apex Cybernetics is and what they're doing.
They have a lot of screen time for not really, me caring about those characters a lot.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help their case either that they're like conspiracy theory characters.
Mm-hmm.
I found everything to do with them to just kind of be a waste of time. But I liked the Kong plotline a lot. I liked the center of the Earth plotline a lot.
Well, the Hollow Earth is something they've talked about since the very beginning of Godzilla, and Journey to the Center of the Earth is basically that idea.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, you need to go to the center of the Earth to have a microgravity environment that can handle extremely large monsters during their gestation period. Otherwise, the gravitational forces of just normal 1G Earth would tear them apart.
For sure.
Can you imagine what the blood pressure must be inside Kong to make the blood go all the way to his head? Just incredible.
I mean, I'm surprised he's not spraying blood out of his eyeballs to kill people.
Anytime he got cut, he would just, the blood would send him backwards like a jet.
Yeah, I mean, literally it's a water jet, but as blood, Do
you remember the Saturday Night Live commercial for Big Red?
Yes.
It'd be like that.
It would be like that. One cool thing in the movie, if you go and start pausing scenes, they do a breakdown of all the monsters where they list their statistics, and one of the statistics they list is gallons of blood that they hold. That's fantastic.
I like that the opening credits were set up to look like brackets, like monster brackets.
Yeah.
No.
Whoa.
I will say the last 10 minutes with them knocking over skyscrapers, I don't know how they did it, like motion capture, CGI, or dudes in rubber suits, or what. Because I assume it's all CGI, but the way that they got the mass on the monsters, it felt simultaneously unreal and perfect as a tribute to the source material. It looked like giant CGI monsters that had the mass of humans wearing rubber suits knocking over fake skyscrapers.
Yeah.
It was made with love and neon.
Okay, here we go. If you pause the movie at just the right moments, you'll learn that the current version of Godzilla has grown in size from the previous film and now measures 393 feet tall. He apparently weighs 164,000 tons, which means 328 million pounds, which is a lot, which is an increase from the 99,000 tons he weighed last time he hit the scale. He walks at 18 miles an hour and has a blood volume of 530,000 gallons. Kong, meanwhile, stands merely 104 feet tall and weighs a measly 158 tons.
They grew him.
That is how big he was in Skull Island. He's actually much taller. He's like 3 times that size now because he's almost as tall as Godzilla.
Yep.
But, yeah.
However, he does have advanced recuperative powers and a highly adaptive and resourceful intelligence. We knew this. We knew this about Kong. We know how smart he is. You don't need to lampshade that. Chicago Tribune.
Well, that said, I will watch the last 10 minutes of that movie again. I don't know that I will watch the rest of that movie again.
I thought the scenes where they're fighting on the ships was very good.
That's true.
I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, pretty much all the rest of the movie is not as good as those. There's like 20 minutes probably of really good giant monsters fighting giant monsters, and then a whole lot of nonsense.
It was, I thought, not as good as Kong Skull Island, but better than than the 2 intervening Godzilla movies.
All right, we need to talk about the ship battle.
Sure.
All right, if you have 328 million pounds across the feet and tail contact patches of Godzilla.
Yep.
I don't think a carrier deck can withstand that.
So this was basically 20 minutes of the movie when Kat and I were watching it. Was discussing if we thought, and I'm on your side. My impression was if Kong somehow managed to jump from one boat to an aircraft carrier, he would go right through.
Yeah, I think he would. The only part that I like, they do sort of account for his mass when he jumps on one of the boats and literally the entire front end lifts up out of the water and looks like it's going to capsize.
I thought that all of the boat physics were really great when he was like standing on the boat and like leaning side to side, and swinging arms and stuff. Like that stuff was great. It was the jump. Like, I'm sorry, he weighs like half as much as that boat. So if he lands on that boat, he should go through that boat.
Yeah, it's not like giant paddle boards.
But I suppose they didn't design the aircraft carriers with that in mind.
Well, but, so if he is his Skull Island weight
he's not.
Of 154 tons, distributed across, say, a contact patch that size of my desk here or something, that could maybe work out if it's a space where you have a good beam underneath.
He's 3 times taller. So that means he should be, if he increases in all dimensions... I would say he's 10 times the mass.
I mean, he's like
probably 20 by 20 or so.
Well, and he looks like he's 8 times taller than the island before its antenna array. I mean, I'm going to say, well, no, I mean, but if he stood up,
okay, so
8 times taller than the.
They show him at the end of the movie. Island. He's as tall as like a 70-story building. They literally fight in amidst skyscrapers. He weighs as much as a skyscraper.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but with more blood than a skyscraper typically has.
I mean, I guess it depends on which skyscraper.
And how full of people it is.
Right. Well, I'm just talking about the skyscraper's blood itself, not the...
Everybody knows that the Sears Tower is just a hollow containment vessel for blood, right?
Yeah, well, that's if Kong or Godzilla need a transfusion, they have to have blood at the ready, like they have for the president. Right. So they just bring him over to the Willis Tower, plug him in, give him his transfusion.
Every major city has like one Titan skyscraper of blood. And one of the things thing is that Kong is the universal donor.
Right.
So
he's got the O.
His Titan
and
blood. And
Godzilla's universal recipient.
Yeah.
That's what makes him so terrible. Yeah. Now, one of the things they do with Godzilla this time around that I kind of like is they make him much more alligator-like.
Yeah.
He actually does a whole bunch of stuff on all fours at different parts of the movie.
I have a question, Robert Roseboom. I think this is actually... Sorry. Mr. Roseboom. So, you know the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the Strategic Helium Reserve. Do you think Monarch was started to create the Strategic Blood Reserve for the Titans?
It might be.
I'm just saying. This sounds like a classic government program from the 40s and 50s.
In fact, every skyscraper, if you dig further enough, you'll find every skyscraper is filled with emergency Titan blood.
Yep.
That's why they're always knocking them down. They're just trying to get blood.
They can sense it.
They can smell it.
Oh, that's M positive. That's the universal monster donor.
Mm-hmm. Ambaloo is like, you guys are getting silly. He's
could happen.
Right.
It's been a rough week in Michigan.
Man, it's been tough here too. I got my first shot appointment though, so that's nice.
That's cool. All right. We got anything else? We got Falcon and the Winter Soldier that I haven't seen yet. New Invincible I haven't seen yet. We got anything else fun?
Yeah, I haven't watched any of those either.
Those are the fun things that I'm looking forward to tonight. The glimmer of hope that I see in my day.
Yeah.
Because the rest of my day ain't going to be that good.
Yeah.
And on that exciting news, let's say goodbye to Chris DeBona.
I'll see you.
Rob Roseboom.
Later.
I am still Rob Commander Taco Maldo. This is episode 598 of Geeks in Space, and I'll see you on Tuesday.